I was there for him. I was there for him in a big way. When he died owing me money. When he came up, a lot of it was on my buck. When he slept on my couch. When he taught me how to cook fried chicken that I bought. That's how it was. And in the end, it was similar to the same way because Death Row wasn't giving them all their money, and I had money. So I was busting bread sometimes. So it wasn't inconceivable that the mom didn't have any money. Come to find out later, she was a millionaire. But at the time, we thought she was broke, and these lawyers were hitting me from every angle, and I was like, man, I just want this to go away. And they wanted to know what I had, with masters, with videos, with blah, 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 blah. And I told them. And she said she wanted my original masters that I recorded of him. I had the first recording he ever made, and I had these other masters with these kids he was producing. But he had put his voice on the track. And to make the lawsuit go away, I agreed, hey, I'll give you anything you want. I have nothing but love for his mother. We're on the same team, right? So I want to give her all this stuff. And I said, all I want is a conversation with her. So I can, one thing I left out was they put me on the phone with her one time, and she got on the phone and she started cussing me out. Kendrick, how dare you do this and say this and do this? And then she hung up on me. I'm like, what the f-? So all this time, in my mind, I had really hated Molly because I thought she was evil, and she had did this thing where she could take over and poison minds, and how could somebody think that I would ever do anything but right for Tupac after I'd done so much good for Tupac at that point? How, basically the evil man was winning the war. So fast forward 20 years from then, someone I was doing an interview for shed some light on it. He was like, you think, because my whole thing was I had always wanted a conversation with Afeni so I could tell her that she'd been getting hornswoggled, that Molly was pulling her chains, that I'm the one that took care of your son, and I just wanted things to be right. And after she died, it really killed me because I never got that chance to make it right, and I felt bad. But an interviewer brought it to my attention because he had been interviewing so many people, and a lot of the people had the same story. So somewhere along the lines, these legal teams and lawyers, they know how to fuck people.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
This interviewer told me it wasn't too inconceivable, but that whole thing was a ploy. When she got on the phone and her knowing my character and to jump to that, and I'm like, damn, I got robbed from my masters without even knowing it. It took me 20 years to realize that shit was a scam. So basically, Afeni fucked me over, and Molly fucked me over, and I was their first target. I was the center of the snowball to go after and steal. They have everybody's pictures, everybody's videos, everybody gave everything to the estate on sympathy. The state gave back nothing. And all those people who run the state and own the estate, they didn't get bullets shot at them. They didn't get they weren't in crazy situations at studios at 4 a.m. They never paid for, well, I can't say his mom didn't pay for him. She supported him and raised him. but so did I. And I've been robbed from. And I mean, I have a ton of experience from it. I had a ton of good times, but at the end of the day, I lost.
Wow.
I feel like, yeah. Does that make sense where I'm coming from?
Yeah, that's an incredible story. It's an incredible story. I'm going to be the fan here, and I'm going to ask, what did you have of his? Was it just the 2 songs? You and Days of a Criminal?
Days of a Criminal was the first song he actually put his voice on. Clark Gable took him to a studio in San Francisco. I wasn't the engineer, but there were these ballers who wanted to be rappers. So they hired Tupac to create a track. In other words, they paid for everything, and they paid him to write their lyrics and place them on tape so they could go back and record them. So really that work was a work for hire. That should belong to them right now. That's maybe why we haven't heard it on any major release, Days of a Criminal. But it was a reference track, yes. And it was for one guy is dead, the other 2 guys are around. But he wrote 4 parts. And yeah, it was a reference track, and the master to that ended up at my studio. I recorded some of it. I made copies for them when they needed it, and I had it for years. And I had another couple of recordings. One song he recorded, I forgot what it was, for him. And then he wrote a song called The Kids for a group of kids out of Oakland he was trying to produce. So he did the reference vocals for that. And we were going to remix those songs and put them on this tribute album, and that's what the one sheet said. So they used that one sheet against me to do the cease and desist and to come up with the phony lawsuit. And for me, I was so disgusted by it. I got angry at times. I was just like, man, you can take this shit. I don't care. I'm not trying to take from Tupac. I'm just trying to do the right thing. But it turns out there's more ruthless souls. And they're all rich now. Well, one of them's dead. Benny's dead.
So there's songs out there that we'll probably never hear.
If they have them, they're probably just, they're not studio quality. The Days of a Criminal probably floats around, but yeah, they definitely got songs because they took everything. But the record labels know where to draw the line. You know, if they don't have, like for instance, that song, we know it's Tupac's voice, but it doesn't make it Tupac's song. They might have paid off the producer, but there's so many other things around it. The stuff with me, they took it from me, but they didn't get me to sign any releases on it. So who knows what they're going to do with it. I believe there's stuff that's out there that we won't hear.
I ask everybody this, and I'll pass this for you in closing. We all have somebody who passed that we knew, and when we're sad about it, there's like a specific memory, typically, that makes us smile a little bit when you think about that person. Do you have one of those for Tupac? A make you smile memory?
I do. It's in the form of a story. Mind if I tell it?
I would love for you to tell it.
And I've told it before, but it's kind of funny. Okay, so like I said, we were players, and you know, Tupac fell into the player role by default. When I told him what his girlfriend was doing, it broke his heart, and from that moment he became a player, and he started juggling the chicks without involving his heart. Well, on this particular day, I had an apartment, and he was there, and I invited these two girls to come over. And as usual, us guys kind of plan our attack, you know. I'm going to get on that one, you get on that one, she's going to try to do this, and you do that. And, you know, we're doing our thing to try to get in these girls' pants. And we're usually successful because we were good at it. But we always had these little huddles and stuff. And Tupac was supposed to get on the blonde one, and I was supposed to get on the brunette one. And we had it down. We knew what we were going to do. And so they come over. We started drinking some beer or whatever, and everybody's having fun. And, you know, kind of time for the Sharks to make their little attack. And the TV is on. And all of a sudden, a movie called Grease 2 is playing. And one of the girls noticed it. She says, "Oh, I love this song." And she starts singing, "Let's do it for our country, the red, white, and the blue." I'm like, what the f-? And the other girl started singing. And then Tupac jumped in because he had a background in musical theater, so he knew the song. He started doing all the dance moves with these girls in choreography with the TV. And he just won them over and became their buddies, and he's singing this song out loud in show style. And I just sat back on the couch and said, now it's me and three bitches. So I was like, oh, God. And that moment is hard to describe, but it was a funny moment that kind of tells me, it kind of summed him up for me. He was always appeasing. He was a warm dude. Whatever you were into, he was into it bigger. And it wasn't about ganging up on these chicks and doing it that way. It was about doing it his way. And that was a fun moment because it showed me something. I was like, God, I didn't see it that way. And we ended up getting the shit out of him anyway. You know, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be hard. I love that dude, and sometimes I hated that dude, but he was my dude, and I was right there in the thick of it. So anything you got, anything you want, just do it the right way.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
What up, shut up?